it's your buddy Peace and Harmony with you here today. We got in a great viewer question and comment, and that is the narcissist delusional? And are we really just caught up in their delusion? And this is a great question, and I think it'll be very insightful to address this. So the narcissist has a pathological sense of self-importance, and this is coupled with a lack of empathy. So they really can't see the forest for the trees with how they treat people. So when someone has a sense of entitlement, a sense of grandiosity, a sense of self-importance, they feel that they are entitled to and really have no sensitivity to the fact that they hurt other people. So when someone lacks empathy, such as in a narcissist or a psychopathic individual, they don't really pick up on other people's feelings. They don't pick up on other people's needs. They not only do they not pick it up, they just don't get it. They don't see it. They don't feel it. They don't acknowledge it. They don't think it's important. They don't see where you're coming from. They don't have the same sort of needs that, quote unquote, most people do. They don't have the needs to be understood. If they can just direct things, they don't care if anyone understands them as not. They just want to have a title. They want to have power. They want to have control. They want to make sure that at the bottom line, if things are better for them, that is all that they care about. And so if they have hurt people, if they have ignored people, if they have not attended to your needs, they basically just say, well, that's your problem. That is your fault. You know, if you're not getting your needs met, if you're emotionally starving, if you're taken advantage of, if you're exploited, if your boundaries are violated, you know, if you're abused sexually, well, you know, ho-hum. I mean, that's just the way life goes. That's how the cookie crumbles. So they really present with a lack of empathy, which means they don't really get other people's needs. They don't get sort of the integrity, the idea that there are certain humanity or values or sacred space or sacred, kind of the heart of things, that sort of, that empathy. So in other words, empathy is being able to feel another's feelings, being able to really understand, where injustice is, and being able, and wanting and desiring to correct it. So for example, a lot of people who are empathic, have empathy, are able to be open to, sensitive to, and understand and actually feel what someone else is going through. So someone who has a great deal of empathy is oftentimes sensitive to the underdog, to the disabled, towards women, towards children, towards the plight of people who are impoverished and want to do better. They're able to feel when someone else is hurt. They're able to feel someone else's anxiety. They're able to feel someone else's agitation. They can oftentimes feel, the energy coming off of people. They are attuned to this. They're not walking around, insensitive or cold or sort of callous to this. Whereas the narcissist is really kind of callous to the feelings of others. They just don't pick up on it. They don't have the wiring. They don't have the hardware. They don't have the operating system to have empathy. They are just lacking in that department. And when we're talking about a psychopath, we're talking not only are they, devoid of it, but they're aware of the fact that they can hurt other people and feel a complete remorselessness of it. And so really look at how they take a pre-calculated look at how they can actually take advantage of others. So they don't have that, integrity and ethics when they're entering into a situation. They're entering in with the full understanding and awareness that they don't care, and that they are actually looking for opportunities and who to pull, who to position, who to find information from to get whatever it is that they want. So that is really their how they operate. And if it's a delusion, the narcissist, I would say, engages in more of that situation, but it's very real to them. So it's not really delusional. It's very much kind of how they approach life, how they approach situations. So, and oftentimes the situation will reward them for that confidence, or reward them for that charm, or reward them for that intellect or that talent or that perseverance. and that skill. So oftentimes these people are very successful. They are leaders. They are respected because they are, they demand the attention. They demand the clout. They demand the superiority. It is just, they command the presence. And so if they command it, it's only going to go one way. So that is just really, so they're, they have focused on that. And we talk about the law of attraction, and what you focus on grows. So if you focus on your superiority, you're basically, and then you bring that into every situation, and it builds and accumulates, and then other people then reinforce that, it becomes your reality. It becomes your life. But then, with a lack of empathy, you're going to then, with a lack of empathy, basically you're going to push away those people who are strong in those qualities. You're going to, in the case of the psychopath, they're going to try to surround themselves with these people. So in essence, they can study them and see, and then kind of mimic them to, learn more about how to manipulate people. So in terms of, being caught up in their delusion, or their grandiosity, it is basically, yes, you are basically there to feed them in their delusion or their vision of how they want to be treated. So for example, let's just use the music industry. A narcissist in the music industry is gonna, want to be the lead guitarist, let's just say, for example. And then so you gravitate to them, and you're the lead guitarist, and then, but then you don't really, they're not going to give you that affirmation in return, because the relationship becomes one-sided with a narcissist, where it's all really about supporting them, and they're not going to acknowledge you really and give you the worth that you deserve and that you really have. So they're just not, that's not what they do. It's just not how they behave. If it takes away from their persona, from their, as a viewer was asking, their delusion, or let's just call it the illusion, then they are not going to engage in that. So it is, yes, you are there to basically keep their story going, and it is your choice. It is your conscious choice whether you feed into that or not. And so you can make the choice consciously to say, okay, I'm not going to, that's not going to fly with me. I'm not just going to be a subordinate to this individual, because I know I'm valuable as a person, and I actually have unique input and contribution. And that is what is your value has to come. So in any system, whether it's a work and employer situation, a family situation, a marriage, a neighborhood, a community, you need to be valued for your contribution. You need to be able to make your unique, your 2 cents, as they say, your nickel. You need to have your input. And, that needs to be validated, and there needs to be a forum for that. There needs to be a place for your contribution. And you need to be validated for that. So, as you go through this channel, and I really appreciate all the hard work that you're doing to really understand this, because I know it's deep stuff, and I know it's complicated, and you really do need to kind of tackle it on a daily basis when you really get to kind of have that breakthrough and say, aha, I realize how I have been hooked or had this trauma bond, and it's now I'm kind of existing in my own body, and I'm not just living reactionary. I'm kind of coming from my own place of self-worth, and that is really defined by you and not defined by the narcissist. So as you begin to more define yourself rather than being defined by the narcissist, you'll realize that you're not just getting caught up in a delusion. You're not just playing along in their storybook. You're not just a role in their life. You are writing your own blueprint, your own sort of strategy for your own life. You are creating and crafting your role, not just as it relates to this person, as they would have you behave. So, so really that, once you break free and really work on, what we talk about in the recovery journal, which is really kind of coming to and really kind of taking action on, your desires, and really kind of cutting free that victim role or template. And even though that happened, yes, you were with this person, yes, that doesn't mean it has to be you, or you live in that identity or that feeling or that constant chronic emotion or mood for the rest of your life. You become basically separate from that once you no longer permit those feelings to drive your life. It's when you can really kind of disengage, let go, and really realize that is their delusion, that they're going to keep that going, but you have a choice whether or not to feed into that, react in it, or carry the negative from it. You can just begin to see that for what it is, and let them go and let them be, and don't feel like you have to take responsibility for their reaction to you. You have to validate yourself. It's something it is a shift of awareness and perspective. And it's really, what they call reality. And, cheaters never win. So it's very important to have that rigorous honesty with yourself and realize that some people are the way that they are, and it's okay to be different. It's okay to have your own values and not just be caught up in someone else's reality, but really get into the idea and own the fact that you have your own perspective, your own values on reality that don't need to be negated by an emotionally manipulative individual. Peace and harmony with you here today. I hope these videos do help. Please share and please subscribe for more great tools, videos, discussion, and support.